Hi everyone, this is Team Indus. We are Fan, HuiyuChen, Zhao, Xiangyi, Zhou, and Sun. Our project is about data analysis and price prediction model on Seattle Airbnb Dataset. Airbnb is a sharing economy hospitality service platform founded in 2008, which has been growing rapidly. We chose Seattle because we live in Seattle. We hope that this project will give some insights for both property owners on setting prices to make more profit and customers on finding their favorite accommodations. Next, my teammates will talk about this project in more detail.
The data used for the analysis is sourced from the Inside Airbnb website. To understand and predict the property listing price in the Seattle area, we chose the detailed listing table, which was compiled on December 20th, 2021. The detailed listing data contains 4,686 unique lists in Seattle City, showing 74 attributes for each listing. After reading description for all fields from the Inside Airbnb Data Dictionary, we deliberately selected 29 of them. We performed several data cleansing processes, including transforming the data to the required type, identifying and removing the outliers, and further excluding some fields based on a specific correlation threshold towards the price. The final features used in the analysis are 5 categorical features, such as the neighborhood, the property type, and the room type, and 16 numerical features, such as the maximum number of the guests the listing property can accommodate, the number of beds and bathrooms.
Okay. Based on the Airbnb data of the Seattle area, we're able to explore an amount of interesting analysis and visualization for gaining preliminary insight and understanding the current Seattle Airbnb market. To first generate some insight into Airbnb performance in Seattle, we can find if there exists a relationship between neighborhood and listing price. Specifically, the concept of neighborhood is divided into 2 parts. Which are neighborhood and neighborhood group. There are 90 sub-neighborhoods spreading over Seattle that are combined into 17 neighborhood groups. We can find the Queen Anne neighborhood group is at the top of the list with the highest mean Airbnb listing price, and a narrow range between the lowest price and the highest price in the area. In addition, there are familiar names we can get in both Airbnb listing with a top 5 mean price and the max price table, such as Queen Anne and the central area. It may provide the neighborhood location and listing price of the similar property nearby one of the factors that can contribute to the property final pricing. However, there is not a strong signal to show the relationship between neighborhood and price. So we are expecting to get further result in the data modeling process. First, we decided to move further to see what the most popular, less popular neighborhood and neighborhood group are in Seattle. It can be seen from the statistical graphs that there are more Airbnb listings located in a core commercial and residential area, which includes downtown, Capitol Hill, central area, and Queen Anne. We could find a very interesting result here. Either popular or less popular neighborhoods may be involved in higher mean pricing. We cannot conclude that the number of the neighborhood listing on Airbnb can affect the pricing and market demand. After that, the property type and the price is another relationship we consider exploring our analysis. The graph shows that the private room in the loft, private room in boat, interior villa, and interior vacation home have the large outlier considering the price. Furthermore, depends on the type of property, the price can change a lot with a big range. We see some common rental type, such as interior rental house, which has a huge price range. However, the most inventory type, interior rental unit, doesn't have the highest price range. This makes sense because for a unit, it can only be one bedroom. But for an entire house, there can be multiple bedrooms, and the max price can be much higher. It helps prove that the property type should be a vital factor that impacts the Airbnb listing price. For better understanding of the relationship between property type and price, we fetch a table that shows us the top 10 property type with higher mean listing price on Airbnb. As reviewed in the table, the entire property took 5 seats on it, which has the benefit of room number and total size. In addition, we cannot ignore some private property types that exist on the table, like private room in boat and private room in bed and breakfast. It's reasonable to assume that the add-on service or uniqueness of the property will influence the listing price as well.
This section, I will show you what kind of rooms are available in Seattle market and how the room options is related to the listing price. So we can see from the chart here that there are 3 main types of rooms you can choose on Airbnb in Seattle, which are entire home, apartment, private room, and shared rooms. And since hotel room has only 3 listings with no valid listing price, we will not be able to provide any available insight here. So going to the next slide. Among all 3 room types, the majority of the listing are entire home apartment, which has a total count of 3,882. This shows the Seattle market has a lot of supplies with very good privacy. And the second supply is the private room, which can be seen as an alternative of hotel rooms. And the last one with relatively small supply is shared room. It is a more economic, but mostly for young travelers. Next slide, please. For the listing price, the mean price for entire home apartment is around $175, and for private room is around $85, while the shared room is only $30 per night. This price is much more affordable compared with the hotel price. So next slide, for example, I'm using Seattle downtown data here. With Airbnb, the cost to get an entire home apartment is only $171 per night, which is lower than most of the hotel rooms in Seattle downtown area. For Seattle downtown, like Westin or Hyatt, it's easily to spend more than $250 per night. And with the same price at Airbnb, you can get a much better traveler experience with the entire space, the kitchens, the full-size bathroom, the balcony, and more. And the next slide talking about the price range. So we can see that for entire home apartment, it has a very high standard deviation with a minimum price only $31 and the maximum price around $4,000. It gives travelers a lot of choices to be either on the economic side or stay a luxury style with a primary location. The situation is quite similar for the private room. So the minimum is only $13 and the maximum is around $1,000. However, the share room rate is quite flat with a minimum only $16 and a maximum $80. This is more stable price range with no dramatic difference between based on the location or the condition of the house. So overall, we can see that the room time is highly relevant to the listing price. And the next part, I'm going to introduce you the feature correlation heat map. So before we start to apply any models, we want to understand the correlation level between the features and have an overview of if we are selecting a good group of the features. We create this feature correlation heat map using the Kendall method. And according to the result, all the green-blue cubes are features with positive correlations, and the red-orange ones shows negative correlations. The darker the color is, the correlation is more significant, vice versa. Some of the fun observations. First one, we see that the room time accommodates bathroom, bedroom, and beds are highly relevant, which is true in the real life because normally for entire home, the larger the house is, there are more beds, bedroom, and bathrooms.
Second one, the availability 30, 60, 90, 360 are highly relevant. It can be translated to the hypothesis that if the house is in a popular area, most of the time it will be booked, and all time availability is low. However, if the house is located at some place is not popular with rare people will visit, it may be stay vacant for the most time of the year. And the third one, the review score are highly relevant. For my personal experience, if the experience is good, I will just score high on all the features. And if I have a bad experience, even just partial of the experience feel not good, it will make me to mark low on all different perspectives. So this can, on a certain level, explain this relevance. The fourth one, we see that the number of reviews and review scores are highly relative with if the host is a super host or not. A super host is a good host that has accommodated a lot of travelers and mainly received good feedbacks. So this can be reflecting the real world experience as well. And the last one, the minimum nights is negatively correlated with the number of reviews. We know that if you have a very restrict requirement on the minimum nights, it's hard for you to find a traveler. Normally, people are looking for 1 or 2 night stays and with no minimum requirements, so they can try out a lot of different places. So that's some of the fun observations we see. And we only see 5 features has a strong correlation with price, which accommodates bathroom, bedroom, and room type. We are going to analyze them more in the following sections. And I can pass it to the next person.
Okay, this part is about modeling. In this part, we adopted new technique to evaluate the feature importance of all the fitted form models. Since there are inherent feature importance for models except for the linear regression model, we utilize the same technique that evaluates feature importance for all of the models. The basic idea is that it will shuffle a feature and see how the model changes prediction. Therefore, the changes in forecast will correspond to the feature importance. From the code part of calculating the feature importance, we can see there's some randomness, so we run it multiple times and inspect the mean and standard deviation of the feature importance. To figure out if we can adopt these features to build regression models for predicting the listing price and find which one has the best performance, we decided to use the 4 models for analysis. To prepare data for predictions, following with the necessary data pre-processing performed in the above sections, we decide to retain features that are mostly related to the price with an absolute correlation value of more than 0.05 for training models. In this case, 22 features were selected. For the linear regression model, we found that the price ranges mostly between $100 and $150. The mean price predicted by the linear model is about $128. In case of linear regression, we generally utilize coefficients to predict the output. The feature importance determined by the linear regression is shown in the following plot. As expected, the number of people accommodated, the room types, and number of bedrooms are the most important features for the linear regression model to predict the listing prices. In the case of decision tree, the following figure shows features sorted by importance as determined by the decision tree. As expected, the number of bedrooms, property type, availability within 90 days, bathroom number, and people accommodated are the most important features in determining the listing price. To improve the predictability of models, we also utilize the random forest. It's easier to explain, and with a larger number of trees, the predictability can be improved compared with the simple decision trees. Compared with the above about two models, random forest has better performance with lower mean absolute error and explained variance score. The way we have used to find the important feature in the decision tree is also used in the random forest. As expected, the number of the bedrooms, property types, and the bathroom numbers are the top three important features related to predicting the listing prices. Compared with the linear regression model, decision tree, and the random forest tree model, the gradient boosting tree has better performance with the lowest mean absolute error and highest variance score, which indicates better prediction. The feature importance plot, it validates previous findings that the number of bedrooms, the property type, and accommodation are the most important features associated with the listing price. For the model analysis result, comparing the performance metrics like the mean absolute error and variance score, it is obvious that the gradient boosting tree has the best performance compared with the other three models. It means that it predicts the average price around $129.95 is more meaningful for reference and consideration. For the features part, from the four models we have trained, basically the bedrooms numbers, the property type, the number of people to accommodate, the room type, the bathroom number are the main important features for models to predict the listing price. It is not important for renters to make a whole listing with necessary features, but also very reasonable for customers to consider and compare with different listing prices.
From the model prediction, we can know that the price of an Airbnb listing in Seattle mainly relies on its neighborhood, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, accommodates property type, etc. Based on this result, we can customize and provide recommendations for renters and users. For renters, we could recommend the house prices based on the prediction model we made and suggest renters to post housing information like property type, bathrooms, number of bedrooms, so that people may be more attracted to this information. For customers, we can optimize their recommendation strategies. For example, Airbnb can notify customers about related housing prices in the future to motivate the booking needs without harming the user experience. Our project is a basic exploration of Airbnb prices in Seattle. Due to limited resources, we are unable to generalize these findings nationally or globally. In the future study, we may use other data resources for further exploration. In addition, our project is focused on prices but not include an analysis of reviews and calendars. These are all interesting things we will use for future study. Thank you.